You tuned into this because it is assured. It is happening. The thing that you have been working on for freaking years that seemed like it was always never almost there, always almost there, always almost there, but never almost there, because it was never almost there, is like, no, it feels like in the past few months, it's actually, wait, I am almost there because I finally freaking figured out how to align with the vibration of the thing. And that's what you're going through now. And the other reason is that you're aligning with this message is because you're seeing how powerful your thoughts are, because there is this other momentum, there is this acceleration of your thoughts reflecting more instantaneously. Like, you can't be in a bad mood anymore because it comes at you. Before, it's like you could spend months in a dark, gloomy place and life was kind of like, and whatever. But now it's like, if you get out of an alignment, if you leave that vortex of your fullness and your abundance and your feeling just like who you are, it is instantly reflected back at you, which really is annoying because it's like, damn, I can't even have a bad day. Sorry, like this is your power. It is that awesome and that scary that it is, you are at the point now, my friends, where your power is that powerful, where you have to treat your power so sacredly, because it is your words, your actions, your thoughts are not taking dinosaur time anymore to come into fruition. They are coming into fruition pretty freaking quickly. The mirror is more immediate, my friends, and it's like a weight, because when you're in a good headspace, that is freaking awesome. And when you're not, watch out. So, the thing about these cards, and we're going to do a whole little quick reading for this because it's happening for you. And I want to channel this message from the aspect of you who is so fully in alignment with this version of yourself. You've done the quantum jump. You're seeing little like trickles. You're seeing lots of little trickles of like the proofs, right? Like you're not fully, it might not feel like your life has completely transformed, but you're seeing, it's like, it's not so much the things around you completely transforming, although some things are, you're transforming. And it was like, it was never about you changing your life completely. It's you changing, and then all of a sudden life is like changing around you. So it's matching up. But this is so cool. This is one of the coolest cards in the Body Tech deck, which, hi, I'm Cara Elizabeth. I'm the author, illustrator, and creator of Animal Apothecary card deck on Amazon. Like it's like sold internationally everywhere. Seriously, if you need a pick-me-up, it is such an awesome deck for manifesting and getting through freaking tests and difficulties and just realigning with like, oh, right, it is all happening. In creating this deck, I healed 18 years of aligning with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So there is some freaking sacred power in here that like was being channeled, lots of research and wisdom and guidance. So Animal Apothecary, it's around $20. It'll change your life. Or at least like uplift you into aligning with the life that you're working towards changing. Anyways, I'm working on my new deck called Body Tech. So this card comes up as your future self in this hand gesture, like assuring that the thing is happening. So you're tuning in because it is freaking happening. And I just want to like shout out, if you go to my website at Cara Elizabeth Speaks, the link is below. I just started having a little fun and making these totes, which you can get for $44.44. You know, you might as well carry around a totem. I just got these in. We have the, you know, I am healing the world, and although the card says I need some love and compassion, the totem says I am love. So check that out. Also, like, subscribe, do all the things, because push this out, because we are here for the people who are aligning with their highest potential, with their true self, who are here to share their gifts with humanity, who are like in it to win it, my friends. Okay, so this reading is dedicated, just is like this big, powerful message, and I want to channel you're already in alignment, you're already in vibration. You might get like teeter-totter, off a little bit, but you keep coming back, and you're coming back stronger every freaking time. And glorify your power is this like major freaking message about watch what you're thinking, watch what you're feeling. Your emotions are like double downing and like just getting more immediate results. So we're just going to connect to those aspects to get some messages for you on your path. So we're going to connect to assurance, your future self. I'm throwing that back in the deck. Your future self and it's your current self. Because your current self is in alignment with that vibration. So like the version of you who's just like fully freaking aligned with that vibration of like, it's done. It's done. It's done. And we're going to pull one from Animal Apothecary. Now, your power, specifically your power that is asking you to glorify it, not to amplify the dungeon feelings. So what does your power want to share with you right now? Just any guidance and love about even aligning with your power anymore. Any love, wisdom that your power wants you to know. Oh, well, there's two. Then, and this just fell out. So I just don't look at the cards facing up till after. But the fact that this victory just came out, like it's done. It's done. What did I say? It's done. Victory. But the binoculars are like, focus on the thing, focus, target, focus on the thing. That's where your glorify your power by focusing on the higher thought, the intention, the thing that feels good. Prayer answered. Your prayer is answered because you answered your freaking prayer. Like you're your answer to your prayer. So you answering your own prayer, thank you very much. You answered your prayer. Yes, life, the greatest mystery of all, but we're all part of that. And it's almost like because it was like you answered it though by aligning with it. So what is that prayer? Okay, there's two. And then you answering your own prayer. And then whatever the heck you need to hear right now to just further be in alignment with the power that you are, with knowing that you're creating it, with shifting if you're in a wonky headspace. All right, you ready? Okay, first, I just want to announce one thing. I am doing July 6th, if you are seeing this before then, a self-worth explosion workshop, which is literally in alignment of everything that is going on, what I'm talking about right here, right now. All the info is below, but this is like what I have learned on my journey and this like next level of myself is that self-worth is actually aligning with the fact that you are abundance. It's not like I am abundant. No, you're abundance. And the more you align with abundance, then your self-worth expands, and it will be hype, it will be radical, it will be different. It is virtual, it is live in person in New York City, but also virtual. And for you, my friend, you get a promo code explosive, because I'm going to blow your freaking mind. Okay, we're just done not being our greatest selves. And we're just done not aligning up to those manifestations. We're done taking years to get there. We got to explode our self-worth, which is aligning with our abundance and doing it in new, radical, different ways. Because as we evolve, as humans evolve, we need to evolve our techniques, right? So this will be really hype though. So if you're interested in boring, somber kind of let's cry and be sad about things, this ain't for you. This is hype. This is getting your power. This is radical. This is movement. This is like powerful dance music. And it's not even too much like I do dancing in a lot of my workshops. This is more of like sitting and body and hand movements and like just, it's gonna be dope. So below. All right, let's just get into the reading. Okay, my friends. Your future self, who is freaking like completely like done, we're assured. And I added on the tote, I create my reality, because like, yeah, you are. And if you don't like it, who do you got to blame? Okay. Your future self, who is completely assured, we have I choose who I am, and we have no expectations. So let's just talk about this. No expectations. So this is interesting, and my mother actually shared with me her wisdom about this card, which I had never I never thought that. And then I was like, yo, she's right. Okay, so this is all about, you've been taking all these steps, you've been having to face your own internal fears, and in facing those fears, it's almost like they give you the key to this like opportunity, this thing that is bigger than you can imagine, and it's better. But Black Panther is also saying that this whole journey, these steps, and this could be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years of like whatever you've been like having to learn and grow to be prepared for this. But he's also guarding this door, that once you get to this door, fear is not freaking allowed. It's almost like this next level of yourself. Like, yes, the fear has been a part of the journey, and it's okay, and that's fine. But for whatever quantum jump you're taking, and this is why the power is so crazy and important, because your fear can no longer, it's like you're not, see, this is where it gets tricky. This is where, like, you wanted to level up into this power, you wanted to level up into this ability to manifest, and there are a select few of you that are really aligning with how powerful you are in this specific kind of way, where you really can't, like, aligning with the fear, aligning with the ugly, aligning with the less than, is a bit detrimental. And I am sorry, that sucks, because we all want to feel like we can have a bad day, and you can, but there's some kind of like, you've been being prepared for this. You've been facing all the fears without dire consequences. It's like time to let go. Like, there is nothing behind this door that you have to be afraid of. So it's like, to get to this next jump, the fear has to be eliminated. And like, he is guarding. He's like, fear is not allowed in this next jump of yours. Like, it's just not, it's just, it's like, You cannot be in the vortex of that greatest version of yourself with like being paralyzed and strangled by fear. So, you know, and for someone like me who has been tortured with terror and fear, and it's like, you know, I mean, maybe you don't know if you're new, but like I was molested as a kid, and then it like plagued me as an adult, and led to living in like terror. And then just like fear has been such, you know, such a crazy part of my life. So when I talk about this, it is not like I don't know what I'm saying when it's like throwing some stuff out, like you can't be scared anymore. Like I'm completely understanding like, oh, how am I going to do that? Like I'm also reflecting on this, like this is like a big deal kind of a thing. And I think also for you, one huge like relief, this fear or this worry that has been a part of your identity for years and years and years cannot exist beyond this door. So there is some kind of, you know, but I love it because Black Panther's he's guarding the door. Like you can't come in to this next level of yourself with that fear, because this biggest version of yourself is vibrating on such a high level and creating such awesome things that if you're still in that fearful place, that it just, they don't, you know what I mean? They don't match, but it's like two sides of the coin, right? Like here it is, work it out. It's okay. But you're about to make this jump. You're about to go through this next door. And this is about, it's a choice. It's all a freaking choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. So, you know, I think when we get strangled with fear, it seems real, and you can try to talk yourself out of it. You can do all the things, but when you're looking through the lens of fear, the fear will tell you this is real. It will make your coworker seem a certain type of way. It will make the text read in a certain kind of format when that was maybe never intended from the intention of the person who wrote the text. It will skew, it will distort, it will make it look so real. It will make you look disgusting and repulsive in the mirror. It will change the whole freaking thing. So you're being asked to, your homework and like everything you need to be doing is brainwashing yourself. Like, this is about changing and reprogramming to help yourself, work through whatever these old stories are that don't belong in this new version of yourself. So I Choose Who I Am is like this specific technique, which it was something I went hard on for a few years, and it totally transformed. But like, I don't know about you guys, but I go hard for a technique and it works for a long time, and then I evolve, and then I'm like ready to go on to another technique. While I was like in it with this technique, it was transformative and powerful. So I would say there's two different things you can do here. So EMDR, quick lesson on what EMDR is. EMDR is a bilateral eye movement looking right and left that is usually used in a therapy session with a practitioner that is having you reprocess your trauma while doing the bilateral eye movement. This then is connecting your right and left hemisphere, and it is, also it's it's basically helping you process your trauma so it can process. So it's not at the forefront of everything. It also, the lateral eye movement it connects to your hippocampus, which then relieves stress or creates like a little bit more of an ease within your body. But the idea is that this is also can be used doing the right and left hemisphere, looking right and left. We don't need to just keep talking about our trauma. We can use this right and left lateral eye movement and talk about all the amazing things that we are manifesting and creating. I am statements. You can do your affirmations with this. Also, what is this hand movement? This hand movement is whatever you want it to be, because moving our hands connects to our cerebral cortex, which allows us also to process things, retain things, and like interpret things in a more powerful way. So we're connecting these movements, right and left lateral eye movement, with whatever freaking Vogue hand movements you want to do while you're saying your affirmations, and doing this at least 3 minutes every day for, I do this, like, I will go on one, for a year or 2, I was doing it. And it reprograms your psyche. You're brainwashing yourself. You're programming yourself to become whatever you want to be. The other technique that I would subscribe is scripting. Scripting is another thing that I got obsessed with that completely changed my life. And like with both of these techniques, so you can look up scripting, but it's just writing out every day for like 3 to 10 minutes, like saying everything as if I am. Here's the one thing I suggest though. Some things are going to trigger you because you're like, I don't believe that. That feels too good to be true. So you instead would say, I am so ready to. I'm so excited to start aligning with this or whatever, because those feel true. When you say sometimes like, I'm, this, that, and the other thing, there's resistance because you're like, that is so not what I am or what I'm feeling. But do you feel ready to? So saying things like that. So your homework is to, and again, this is like whatever freaking technique works for you, double down on it. Like for me now, it is going on crazy visual journeys, which I am so excited to lead you on in my self-worth explosion workshop, that are like way crazier than anyone has ever led you on. Like we're ready to just like go fantastical craziness in the best freaking way. Because again, going back to you aligning with your abundance is you stretching your limitations of who and what you actually are, and going into infinite possibilities of yourself that are fantastical, that seem superhuman, that seem too, like, beyond too good to be true. Like, I'm talking about like being made of gold, like your cells being made of gold coins and like shooting out of your face like a rocket, and rainbows, and just crazy amazing journeys. But this thing is that you gotta start aligning with this version of you who is so epic and fantastical through training your consciousness and through leading your thoughts to where you want them to go. So choosing your future self in that assurance is like, it's a choice. It's all a choice. And this next level of yourself, fear just isn't allowed. So you got some time to work on that, because you're still you're very close to that door, but fear is not allowed on the other side of that door. Your most powerful self, the aspect of you who also is interested in glorifying their power as opposed to just like submitting to the illusion of life having power over them. So funny. We have another Black Panther that's actually saying, do not be afraid. There's nothing to fear. So your power is letting you know that there's nothing actually scary. There's nothing actually to worry about. There's nothing. That's why it's like that's why fear isn't allowed in this next level of you, because there's not even anything to fear. It's almost like in this version of reality, it's like this is the portal. In this version of reality, there's the fear because you're like illusioning what to be afraid of. But the portal leads to this bigger, more expansive version of yourself who's like, oh wait, there was nothing to be scared or worried about in the first place. You are being asked to, I feel like there was another card that I just had. Oh, right here. So there's two cards that came out. Owl. That your highest self has your back. And I love this. So your power is letting you know. Well, one, I think it, because your owl speaks as like a messenger from your highest self. It sees in the dark. It hears what's not being said because it can like hear in the furthest distances. Athena actually had an owl. The goddess Athena, she's one of the goddesses of war, had an owl on her shoulder, so she could have it, it turns its head, what looks to be 360 degrees, could tell her, like, it could see the bird's eye view, could see in the dark, it could hear what she couldn't hear. So there's this idea that there is something that, usually this card comes up and I feel like you have your own back, like you're letting yourself know. But I almost think what the message is that what your power is asking you to know, especially because this is the power of aligning with the highest, right? Of glorifying power, of not coming from egoic power, of coming from love and the great mystery. And I think you are being asked to constantly have conversations in your mind with asking your highest self, like what's the best thing to do? Lead me the best way, keep me on track. That is going to help with the ego's interference. So I think there's this constant kind of whatever the intention, it really needs to be high vibe, like whatever is the best for myself and everyone else, like what is the best thing I can do that is fulfilling my potential and helping others, uplift humanity, whatever it is. So your power is asking you to have these conversations and asking your highest self for the best direction and to be, receive information for next steps. And then your highest self is asking your focus to be on everything you're grateful for, because then you become a magnet for all those things that are in alignment with that frequency. So focusing on the higher thought, focusing on what feels good, focusing on what you do have. I was listening to Esther Hicks talk about, it's like I didn't get it at first. She was saying this thing about health, right? And it wasn't almost like focus on, if you're sick, don't focus on being healthy, because it almost makes you still think about how you're not healthy. And I was like I got it, but I didn't get it. But then it was like, just focus on something else. Like focus on just like all the things that make you like, don't even focus on your health, because the health is almost like a trigger point. Like don't focus on like, oh, I see myself like no longer with this ailment. because it still makes you think about how you have the thing that feels some type of way. Focus on something completely different, because the point is like, keep getting in alignment with this like bigger and better feeling. And you know, and maybe at one point focusing on like being radically like awesomely healthy isn't gonna trigger maybe the thing of like whatever is seemingly feels wrong with you at the moment. But it's like, don't even go, just like go somewhere completely different with what you're focusing on, if that makes sense. Now your prayer answered is saying that there is some kind of amazing pearl, there is some kind of a gift coming through this like difficult period you've been having, because there is a growing pain when you are quantum jumping. There's, for most, right, like there's resistance and rebel and let's go back to the old self, just because that's our programming, right? Like that's what's familiar, that's what's safe, that's what's comfortable. And you might have like the ghosts from the past, like you made the quantum jump and then the, you know, the ghosts from the past come back and you kind of like realign with them again. And it's good for a minute to kind of like go back into the old story. And it's just some kind of reflection, like, and even if that maybe isn't the case, it just could be like, whatever the thing is that there's always like, it's like giving birth. There's just like a moment where it's really intense and just unfreaking comfortable. It is like the pearl, okay? It is, the clam doesn't want the stupid outside thing coming in. And it's like, there's some kind of parasite, there's some kind of thing on the outside coming in, clamoring its way into the clam. It's like, get the hell out of me. Like, I don't want this. So what it does, it basically calcifies around the thing, the parasite, the thing that's like getting in its personal space. And it's like creating this barrier around it. And it's really freaking uncomfortable. But then it makes a pearl. So it's like, there is whatever challenge that you've been having to go through, whether it's the overwhelm or the like reverberation of an old thing that you thought you got over, or whatever the freak it is, there's a big gift in this that was needed, because this gift is really important for this next level of yourself. And one awesome body movement you can do when you are triggered, when the thing comes, it's like you do this like blood flow restriction. Like it's, you know, inspired by Bikram yoga. They do the tourniquet poses. You know, look at her. She's so restricted. She's so freaking uncomfortable. And you squeeze everything. You squeeze every muscle. And you squeeze, you squeeze, you squeeze. You're stopping her blood flow. You're stopping, and you breathe in. And then I would do this about 9 times. It's gonna change your physiology, change your biology. The blood flow restriction actually stopping everything, it helps pump up new blood and brings newness to everything. So we want to change everything, like emotionally and physically, because we're emotional, physical beings, right? So when you are triggered, and you know, I would suggest like get your personal space, because this is gonna look weird. You know, getting in a position that's really breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, hold it, squeeze everything, and release. And try to like hold it as long as you can. Can you hold it for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds? And it's like really just like relief slow. And imagine opening up the clam to just let that pearl slowly just rise above to the top. Speaking of rising above to the top. Now, your prayer answered is saying that this thing, all this work you've been doing and aligning with this abundance, like, I'm telling you, that's the key. You got to align with abundance. Again, sign up for my workshop because this is what it's all about. Because just sign up for it. Like, it's going to be worth it. So there's something about, or dragonflies under the water for, depending on the species, it could be 3 to 5. I almost want to say business years, 3 to 5 business years underwater as a nymph. And that's its reality that it understands. And I always think, it's really interesting when we think of the butterfly analogy, caterpillar to butterfly. But, the caterpillar can see and understand air, and it can kind of, I don't know what kind of level of reflection it has on looking at like birds and flying creatures, but it's like aware to the extent that it's able to be aware of. But the nymph only understands life underwater. So look at this picture again. What do we see? The baby in the womb. There's no way it can understand what is coming for it when it is done developing. So there's something for me that I'm hearing for you that, first of all, this babe is getting pretty big. Like, it looks like it's almost at the 9-month period. But there's this, like, this thing about, like, this is taken as long as it needed to have taken, because there is the development and growth that it is preparing you for this next level of yourself that, you are ready for. So everything happening, and when the nymph goes through its metamorphosis and underwater and it's preparing and growing wings, like, it might not realize, like, what did I need this for, and what is this and what is that, and like, it is because it is coming into a new level of reality where flight is not only essential, but it is its greatest, like, gift. There's some kind of gift. Okay, flight and gift. Like, there's some kind of liberation coming in this next level for you. Like, I love this. There's this metaphor in the Baha'i faith about the life after death and whatever that means, because we're all humans trying to, like, think of it in our own way. But, like, let's just say there's twins in a mother's stomach, and one baby, it's like, feels some urge that, like, oh, I need my hands, even though I don't need them in here. I'm gonna grow my eyes, even though, like, not really using them in here. I'm gonna grow, legs, even though I don't really need them in here. And then, like, the other fetus baby is like, oh, I'm comfy, and, like, that's making it feel squished in here if I keep growing. So, like, I definitely don't need legs in here. I definitely don't need eyes. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't need any of that stuff in here. And then it's born into this life, and one of the babies, even though it seems so, like, growing all those things and the pressure and getting there's not a lot of room in here, and this feels uncomfortable, it's starting to feel uncomfortable. The more I'm growing into myself is feeling really uncomfortable, was what it needed to be completely prepared for this new dimension of reality, which is this material world life that we're all living. And then the other baby, who was, like, comfy, cozy, didn't need to grow those things because it was uncomfortable to grow those things, and it was uncomfortable to get bigger in the mother's stomach, and it felt like it was taking up too much room. So it comes out, and it's so it doesn't have all those components that would make its life so much easier in this realm. And I love it because it's this, in this Baha'i analogy, it's actually speaking about life after death, and it's speaking about our virtues, that, like, our virtues are actually, like, the things that are for this next dimension that we go into. Our virtues are like our limbs and legs and our eyes and our ears and sight in this world. So if we don't develop our virtues in this world, like our virtues of service and joy and humility and generosity and joy and kindness, and the list just goes on forever, that those are actually things that you could kind of get away with in this life. Actually, you could do really freaking well without a lot of those beautiful virtues and qualities. But in the next dimension, according to this analogy, are going to be like limbs and sight and taste and hearing and walking and touching and feeling in this next level. So anyways, I just think that's super cool, and I think that's really like such a cool way to kind of honor and understand, like, who knows what's happening this next after we die, but like that's cool to like grow those things. But we're talking about this current reality, and just circling back to that analogy is also, I'm placing it for this next level of yourself, that for the past 5 or 6 years, right? Like, what species of dragonfly are you? There's something for maybe 3 to 5 years, something you've been working on and growing, and it's been freaking uncomfortable. And like, there's been fear involved. There's been a lot of fear, like, and it's okay. Like, that was a part of it. Like, for whatever reason, like, you had to face those things in order to overcome those things. But this next, it has been preparing you for this next level. And isn't that cool that you get to experience this in this life? A level of life that feels too good to be true, better than you can imagine. Like, you're one of those people that get to experience that almost feeling alternate reality. Like, you're not staying in that kind of like, this is what my family did, and then I'm kind of doing an extension, and then my kids will, and this and that. It's like, you're changing it. Like, you're like, I'm my own demigod. I'm creating my reality. And this whole time, especially in the last few years, I've been discovering that. And especially in the last 3 months, it's becoming more and more apparent that it's finally freaking happening. Even though for years it just felt like, that's too good to be true. But apparently it's better than you can imagine. So this next level of yourself is not only some form of liberation. When we are talking about animals that have flight, this is freedom. Flight is equivalent to freedom. There is some kind of freedom, and what is really cool is that many dragonflies reflect rainbows on their wings. Their wings aren't actually rainbows, they reflect rainbows, meaning they reflect light. What is light always the metaphor of? Sun, source, oneness, God, creator. So there is something that whatever you've been working on and healing and preparing and like just maybe always getting disappointed that you're never there, like there was a point in it all, and you've been growing these things that are going to allow you to reflect source's light. You know, again, not coming from the ego, it is like there's something like channeling, right? Like whether it's your art or your management style, because we need good managers out there, because there's so many weird, twisted, like emotionally regressed humans that are in authoritative power. So, you know, what, like if you're a leader, if you're a manager, if you're a mother, if you're a parent, like if you're a teacher, if you're whatever, like if you're not aligning with the light and reflecting that light, then you're teaching from some 5-year-old trauma understanding of reality. Okay, and last but not least, whatever you need to hear. That was the last thing. Like whatever the message is that right now that needs to be heard, said, and felt. I am the abundance and immense growth. So let's talk about immense growth. Immense growth is a vulture. What does vulture mean? Vulture comes on the scene about when there's some kind of ending coming to something. There is something that is like, you know, the death of something, and that it doesn't give that creature that it's about to eat. Vultures wait for the thing to die. It doesn't give it a swift death like other raptor birds. It's the only raptor that lets the thing suffer, just completely, like, go through whatever you're going through. You're gonna die in your own time. And when you do, I will feast and I will transmute that energy into, you know, my life force and fly around. So there's something that is coming to an ending. Vulture is lurking around, and he's saying in this, there has been so much growth, and I specifically think in the last few months, your growth has expedited, it has sped up. That's why your power is even more amplified. Like, that's why it's like, watch what you're thinking. And I hate saying this, but like, maybe I'm saying it to myself, and maybe it's like, that's why I hate saying it. Like, you're not allowed to be scared. But kind of like, I just know how like distorted and corroded my fear is. And I want to honor how I feel, but it's also like a sick, twisted drug. You know what I mean? Like, at what point will I have enough self-power to be like, F you? Like, you don't get to dictate my reality. Like, I'm, you know, right? We want to honor, but like, let me just reflect back, and maybe you can use this as a reflection to where some of your fear stems from. So like, if the majority of the like corroded, demented, weird fear stems in from a freaking gross old man molesting me when I was a little kid, and like letting that energy still dictate reality and like, you know, and like when I share this stuff, this is not about to be like, I'm so sorry for you. Like, no, I'm not sorry for me. All my traumas are the best thing that could have ever happened for me to create what I'm creating. I honor, you know, I just like, I'm sharing this not to be like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Yeah, it's gross, it's disgusting. These things should never like happen to other people. But like, for those of you who have endured like any kind of traumas or any kind of whatever, it's like, well, guess what? On the other side of that coin, of that sick, twisted thing, is the most amazing thing. And there's the justice if you can get to that other side, right? Like, having my power taken away or seemingly taken away from me just led me on a mission to experience how freaking powerful I am. And if that didn't happen, absolutely, you can guarantee that not only would I never have created this deck or this deck, I would not be who I am without that. So I'm not, you know, whatever. Anyways, so I understand that level of fear, and it bleeds. I'm telling you, it bleeds into being successful for me. Like, there is such a fear around, you know, the worst possible thing happening if my dream comes true of these next levels that I am creating in my life, of getting to this next level of myself. These stories that come in telling me what will happen are terrifying. And there was even like, when this launched, like, oh my God, it was the stories of terror of all the horrific things that were going to happen that still lurk around in me. But it's like, it all stems back to some, you know, and I think I can blame everything on my trauma, but let's be real. Like, our society teaches us completely to be like fearful, like, I don't even know what that means, what I just did, but it's like kind of just like agreeing and looking up to a thing that's higher than us, and like, I'm just so done. And like, you know, and that is where I am at with like our collective fear and worry in getting to this next level of ourselves, because there is some, whether it's just your trauma, because it's not just my trauma, it's everything else going on and everything that we've been taught and like whatever, but like I'm just uninterested in letting that freaking have power over me anymore. So this is what I mean, like where I'm kind of done honoring, this is how I feel. Okay, well, like, you know, you're falling for the story again, you're falling, and like I get it, and I'm gonna fall for it again. And it's just like, but I'm done with it. Like, even though I, you know, it's I'm still working through that. And the other card I'm looking at that I didn't pick up, which was, I think, the lighten up card, that like everything is fine, everything is working out. And I think that kind of like wraps that up for whatever I'm talking about, that like it's fine, there's nothing scary going on. Like lighten up, like it's just like lighten up. Okay, but let's talk about the I am the abundance. So last but not least, if you haven't signed up for my Self-Worth Explosion workshop, this is what's happening, is we are aligning with I am the abundance, because my complete life has transformed. Like, because you ever notice using your boundaries and the same thing keeps happening to you? Like, oh, that's how we declare our self-worth, is like, say no to the thing, but like the thing keeps popping up and you still keep having the same relationship with it. So like, you didn't change. Like, yes, you used your voice and that was awesome, but like it keeps, so I'm looking at a more expansive view of like what actually is self-worth, and self-worth is that aligning with the fact that you're freaking everything. So, you know, come on down to where the price is right in my workshop. But anyways, so I am the abundance, and this is the last of the card we pulled that said whatever you need to hear right now. I am the abundance, like, sums it all up. And if you really want to figure out how to freaking align with that, I don't, you know, deal with it. I'm selling you right now, like, you gotta come to my workshop, because what does this even mean? Come to my workshop and you'll find out. Anyways, I love you guys. I love you so much. Do all the things, like, comment, subscribe, come to my workshop. All the info is below. I love you forever. World peace. It's happening. We are creating our own realities, and it's awesome. And even when it's scary, it's still going to be okay, because we're just like learning how much of an illusion that is anyways. All right. World peace forever.